Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my series on how to start saving money. In this video, I will show you how to build your monthly spending budget using the Emma budgeting app. In part 1 of this series, we created an overview of our fixed expenses, such as rent and essential bills. Now we are ready to set up a budget for our overall spending. If you're interested in personal finance, please consider subscribing to my channel and leaving a like on this video. So the idea of making a budget is to assign a purpose to every dollar of your take-home pay. That means your total budget should equal the dollar amount of your take-home pay. It'll make more sense once we start setting everything up. I've looked at a few budgeting apps and ended up choosing the Emma app. What I like is that it has a very appealing and modern design. It's fingerprint protected, and I was able to link my specific credit card, which I wasn't able to do with any of the other apps. It also sends helpful notifications. For example, if you spend too much, it will tell you to slow down in order to stay on budget. And if you're on track, it sends you messages of encouragement. The only downside is that you have to get the premium version in order to add custom spending categories. I found that I didn't really need any custom categories, so it didn't really matter to me. I recommend you download the Emma app using the link in the description and follow along with me. Alright, let's start. After you've registered, you can link your bank accounts by going to the Accounts tab on the bottom. Here you can see your everyday spendings, savings, investments, and loan accounts. So these are all my actual accounts, but the balances are replaced with random ones, which is an in-app feature called Scramble, which allows you to demo the app without showing your actual account balances. Now to add an account, you just press Add an Account, press Continue, and then search for your bank, city, and then add your credentials, and it will automatically add any account that you have with that bank, for example, checkings or savings accounts. When you click on an account, you can see all your transactions on the bottom. And to change settings, you just click the 3 dots on the top right, which allows you to hide the account in case you're not using it. You can mark it as closed. You can rename it. You can change the account type. Usually you don't need that because the app does a good job in detecting what type of account it is. And then you can set an overdraft limit, but my goal is to help you never get to that point. So next up is your feed, which gives you a snapshot of anything that's happening with your accounts. So it shows you your cash, your debt, and investments. It also shows you your recent transactions, and if you click See All, you can see a list of all the transactions. So next up is your budget utilization for this month. So it shows you how much of this month's budget you've already used. And if you click Spending, it will show you all the transactions for this month. All right, now you can click on one of these transactions. And if you click on the 3 dots on the top, you can change the transaction date, you can rename the transaction, and you can split the transaction, which is a premium feature. If you want to, you can also change the type of the transaction. So for example, from bills, you want to change it to entertainment. You can do that and also apply that change to another transaction if you want to. You can also add a note. And you can rename the transaction from here as well. It shows you which account the transaction is coming from. And since this one here is considered a subscription, it will show you when your next predicted payment will be due. It also shows you a history of that particular vendor, number of transactions, the average spend, and the total spent. You can also exclude this transaction from your budget if you want to. Sometimes you have to do that when you pay off your credit card, because otherwise it shows up for both your checking account and your credit card account. And then at the very bottom, you can also upload a receipt, which can be quite useful. And in case this vendor doesn't have a logo, you can go ahead and add a logo using the vendor's Twitter handle, which is really cool. All right. Next is your history bar chart, which you can change to any of your spending categories. So for example, if you want to see general spendings, it will adjust. Next up is your what did I spend section, which allows you to search, for example, how much did I spend on Save on Foods last month. You press search and it will list all your transactions that apply to that search. And then last but not least, your subscriptions. For me, I just have my Spotify added here, and you can press see all to list all of your subscriptions. Also shows you your inactive subscriptions if you have any. In order to mark a subscription inactive, you just click on the subscription, go to the 3 dots, and then press this is inactive. You can also rename the subscription. You can let the app know that this is not actually a subscription. You can change the frequency and edit the prediction. All right, now let's move to the Analytics tab on the bottom. This will be where you can set your budget. So in order to properly show you guys, I will turn off the scramble. I will press let's get started, and we want to set it up monthly. So this amount is based on the take-home pay from my previous video. So we'll click next. So first we will add our housing budget, which will include rent or your mortgage and any home insurance that you might have. So let's set this to $600. Next we will go to bills. This will include any essential monthly expenses that you have. So for example, your electricity bill, your phone bill, and stuff like that. So let's just set this to, let's say $400. And in order to see your total budget so far, you just have to press the minus button up here and just wait for it to reach the bottom. There you go. So your total right now is $1,000. So next up is business, which I didn't really have any use for. Then cash is your budget for your monthly withdrawals. But I personally just use the general budget down here for all of that to keep it simple. So next up is your charity budget. So if you contribute to a charity every month, you can add that here. Let's say $50 a month. Next up is your eating out budget. This includes going to restaurants or ordering food. So let's set this to $200. Now education, you can add any tuition that you pay for or books or anything like that. Next is your entertainment budget. Let's do $50 for that. Your family budget would be any spendings that you plan to use for family activities. And then general, this one here is for anything that doesn't fit the other categories. I personally prefer not to have too many categories to keep things simple, which helps you stick to a budget. But feel free to add as many categories as you think you will need. For this I will add, I don't know, $300. Next up we will do our shopping budget, which includes any discretionary spending, let's say on a new pair of jeans or any other clothing, a new pair of shoes, or a phone upgrade, or anything like that that's not essential. So let's add $200 for that. And then for transport, that includes your car payments if you have any, your car insurance, and any gas that you expect to pay every month. Or alternatively, your bus pass. So add 500 for that. And then for personal care, you can add anything such as makeup or any other personal care products. Okay, now up here, let's make sure we press the minus button to get the total budget that we're at right now. So we're at $2,300 of our $3,800 total budget. So what we do now is go to investments and add the remainder there. So I just noticed that I forgot to add a budget for groceries. That means the investment budget should actually be around $1,000, not the $1,500 that I set it at. So this means that you have $1,500 every month to either put into your high interest savings or invest in your TFSA. That depends on your situation. So for example, if you have credit card debt, you want to use that amount towards paying off that credit card first before you start investing it. Okay, and now we're done setting our budget. So we'll click Save Budgets. So I'll go ahead and re-enable Scramble. Go back to Analytics. And now if you scroll down, you can see how much of your monthly budget you have spent for each category. And if you swipe to the right, it will show you your previous month's income as well as spending. Alright, now you have a set monthly budget, which will help you start paying off your debt so you can start saving. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like below and subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. Also, if anything is unclear, please leave a comment below and I will do my best to help. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and see you in the next one.